Hello everyone, in this video we'll be solving problem 228 summary range. The problem statement is we are given a sorted unique integer array nums and we need to return the smallest sorted list of ranges that cover all of the number in the array. Please note that the problem statement mentions that the input array is already sorted and unique. In example number 1, with this as our input, it can be summarized or grouped into three ranges from 0 to 2, which will cover the first three numbers, 4, 5, which will cover the next two, and 7 is an individual one because there is nothing after it. So 7 is the third range. Similarly, in example number 2, with this as our input, it can be grouped into four ranges, starting with 0 as an individual element, as there is no one in between to connect it with the next range. We have 2 to 4, which covers 2, 3, and 4, 6 as an individual range, following that with 8 and 9. I hope you were able to understand the problem statement. Although this is a very easy problem, but it is a very important concept that we need to understand so that we can solve future interval related problem statements. Let's switch to whiteboard and discuss how we can solve this problem efficiently. If we try to map this input in an x-axis, it should look something like this. After mapping it down, it is very clear that there are a total of four ranges. And if we try to draw the pattern based on the inputs that are given to us, there are a total of three cases that can happen. Let's consider x as the current number and y as the next number in the array. The first case is where the difference between y and x is 1, which means the numbers are consecutive, like for example 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. The difference is 1. It means that the number should be continuous and it should be included in the range. The second case is where both y and x are equal, so the difference is 0. For example, if we have two 11s in the input array, this will not happen because it is already given in the problem statement that all elements are unique, so this case shouldn't happen. But if it did happen, then we need to include that particular number as a single element in the range. And the last but not the least is the difference between y and x is greater than 1. It means that the numbers are no longer consecutive. Like for example, the difference between 3 and 5 or 6 and 8. The difference is 2, which is greater than 1. It means the range cannot be continuous, which means we need to stop the current range and start a new one with y as the starting point. I hope you were able to understand how we broke this entire problem down into three scenarios and solve them separately. To solve this problem, all we need to do is start a for loop to iterate through all of the elements in the given input array. Compare the value of the element that the current pointer is pointing with the next one, run it through these three cases and check which scenario it fits in, and accordingly either continue the existing range or include it as a single element range, or stop the current range, save it and start a new one. With this solution, our time complexity is O of n, where n is the number of elements in the given input array. And the space complexity is also the same, O of n, as we are maintaining the result or the return value with all of the ranges. So in the worst case scenario, all of these elements in the input array could be an individual range in the output as well. I hope you were able to understand this explanation. Let me show you how we can implement this using C#. Here is the C# solution. I start by initializing my result variable, which will hold all of the ranges, and then handle a couple of edge cases to make sure that the length of the input array is greater than 1 and it is not null. Post that, I'm initializing the start of the first range to set it to the first element in the array, and then start the for loop, which will run through all the three cases that we just discussed and accordingly either continue the range if the value is consecutive, add the current element as a single element range to the output, or close the current range as the difference is greater than 2 with the next element in the array. After adding or closing the current range to the result variable, we start a new range starting with the next element in the array. Once the for loop is complete, all of the ranges will be available in the result variable. This code, when submitted on LeetCode, beats nearly 65% of the submissions in terms of runtime and 96% in terms of memory. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you were able to understand the explanation. The details to access the source code is available in the description below. Feel free to check that out and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.